Hey, what's up guys, my name is Joel and welcome back again to my channel. For today's video, we are going to have a year-end review of the best books that I've read this year, the worst books that I've read this year, and the most surprising reads or surprising books that I have read this year. So for today's video, we are just going to talk about the worst or the most disappointing books that I have read in the year 2018. Gemina by Amy Craftman and Jay Kristoff. This is the second book of the Illuminae Files trilogy, and I do love the first one, Illuminae, and I do feel that that one gave us a wild ride, sci-fi out of this world plot and story, but this one felt flat for me. This is very dragging. I found this very dragging, and if I'm going to summarize this one, this can be only a chapter, even though it's very thick. It can be only a chapter of what really happened in Illuminae. So for me, there's a lot of things that happen here that is not necessary for the story. So yeah, this one did not really work for me. The main reason that I bought this one is because of the hype in the YouTube community, and even though it's very expensive, I invested in this book and I end up not liking it. And this is The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. I am a reader who is who loves to read plot-driven story or plot-driven book, and this one is not a plot-driven. Even though there's the plot, but it's dragging for me. It's very slow. It's more on the character-driven, even though I do love some of the characters, and I do love the incorporation of Grecian mythology to this one. But overall, I felt this very dragging, and I was really bored. I was expecting a lot in the ending because of the build-up that happened in the first half of the book, but eventually after reading that last part, it did not really amaze me or wow me, so disappointing. The third book that I have here is one of my most recent read. I got this from the Book Binge Bazaar, and this is from Dan Wells, and this is Blue Screen, the first book of the Mirador series. I have the entire series. I got them in my Book Binge Bazaar haul, and you can check my videos if you want to check my Book Binge Bazaar haul. This is very cheap. I got this for 120 pesos. I do love Daniel's partials, that's why I picked this one up. And then when I read this one, this is not as good as the partials trilogy. It's very far. The caliber of partials was way up there, and this one was very disappointing. The characters were really flat for me. The world and the plot were real dull. Nothing new, nothing amazing happened. It's just like another story from the year 1980s. If I've read this 20 years ago, probably I'll be amazed. But this is 2018 and not refreshing, not that exciting. Even though there's a lot of action, but yeah, it was not enough to really impress me. The third book that I have here is probably one of the most heartbreaking reads that I have this year, and this is probably because I do love the first series, the Fable Haven Rumble, and the sixth book of the series is The Dragon Watch. I was really scared diving into this one because I think the fifth one, or the last book of the Fable Haven series, which is The Keys to the Demon Prison, was perfect for me. There is no reason for the author to, to extend the story, but after several years, he did continue the story, and as a fan of the first 5 books, I grabbed a copy of this one and I read this, and yeah, it was really bad. It was like forced. The story was really forced. I thought the author was really trying to do something about the story that ended already, and I hope he do good. And the second book is actually out and it's not yet available here in the Philippines, so I'll still grab the second book and let's see what really happened. What happens? This made me really angry, and this is One Dark Crown by Kendra Blake. I do love, and I was really surprised that I did love the 3 Dark Crowns. And even though it's how slow it is, but the ending was worth it. The first book ended with a bang, but this one, the second book of the series, I was expecting it to start with a bang and continue the bang that the first book did. But this one, instead of giving us a bang, it gave us smoke. The characters went from good to bad. The plot went from organized, and in this book it became all over the place. I do feel the author do have a lot of ideas, and she wasn't able to really tie everything in one story in this book. So if you're going to read this book, this was like there's this one happening, another this one happening, and it was all over the place, very confusing, very disappointing. I do have a feeling that this has a potential to be a great book, but depends on the reader. But for me, this one is not really for me, and this is David Arnold, The Strange Fascinations of Noah Hypnotic. I picked this one up because I've heard David Arnold wrote the Mosquito Land, which is really, really good. Since Mosquito Land, it is not yet available here in the country, I grabbed his latest piece, and this is The Strange Fascinations of Noah Hypnotic. This is a very, very weird contemporary fiction, young adult, but it did not work for me. I found this one really confusing and weird. I was reading this one, I was really confused. I did not connect to the characters into the story. And after reading this book, after reading a contemporary, I think you have this feeling or your heart will feel really, really big with a lot of emotions. But this one did not give me that. Did not give me that feeling. I was like confused from start to the end. So yeah, maybe this book is not really for me. The second to the last book that I have here in my list is one of my recent reads, and this is What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. I do love Becky Albertalli. I hate Adam Silvera because, again, to add one book here in the list is They Both Die in the End. That's the worst book that I've read this year, and I don't want to talk about it because yeah, it's really, really bad. So even though he is writing this book, I still pick this one up because I am a fan of Becky Albertalli. But again, their duo did not work for me. The writing style of Adam Silvera really is not for me. It's really, really bad. I do not really appreciate anything that he's writing right now, and I feel bad for Becky Albertalli. But the story of this is very cheesy. I don't love or don't like the symmetrical relationship between the two characters, and it's very cringy for me and very, very cheap. I think this can be, I don't know, it's almost a trash. I didn't really love this one. It's very immature, and the quality of this story is almost like I'm reading a Wattpad story unedited without an editor and publisher. So sorry. And the last book that I have here is the only book that I did not finish reading. That is how bad it is. I was really, really bored for this one, and this is 10% Slaughter by Tamora Pierce. I've heard a lot of good things about Tamora Pierce, and that's why I picked her latest book. And this one is very dragging. This is not plot driven. This is character driven. I am halfway through the book and nothing really happened. I don't know where this book is going, and yeah, I was really disappointed. I am a plot driven person, and sometimes I do consider character driven, and this one I really pushed myself. I really forced myself to finish this one, but it's not really happening for me. Really boring. I don't know what the story is all about. It keeps on telling you about this character doing this, doing that, but I don't know. So what happens next? I don't know. What's the story is all about? What's the ending? Nothing. There's no plot in this book. So yeah, until now I can see the bookmark is still halfway. I've read half of the book and nothing really happened. So if you have comments, if you love this book, try to write a comment down below for maybe I'll finish this next year. I don't know. I don't have the idea. I don't love the idea of not finishing the book, so probably I'll just pick this one when I'm ready. So thank you so much guys for watching my video. So these are the books that I am disappointed. They disappointed me this year. Hopefully there will be less books that will disappoint me next year, 2019. So thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.